Today, the atmosphere in Santa Clara is full on alert. There's a reinforcement to protect our quarterback, a strategic duo that could become a hot topic for the future. A playmaker's return getting a new chapter, and a tactical detail keeping coordinators up at night. There's front office decision-making, roster movement, and a rare explanation from the head coach. Do you think the offense is truly dialed in, or is it still missing that one tweak that changes everything in January? You won't believe what we've got today. So sit down, smash that like button, and let's jump straight into the news. When it felt like the offensive line was walking a tightrope, the front office pulled a quiet containment plan. Brandon Parker was added to the 49ers practice squad. At first glance, it might sound like a supporting role, but the timing says everything. Ben Bartch will be out for at least 4 games, and any slip on the edges of the pocket becomes an invitation to collapse Kyle Shanahan's playbook. That's where the bet gains weight. Parker, 28, has starter mileage, long arms, and a swing tackle profile who can patch things up on either side. Suspense? He's not here to change the unit's DNA. He's here to stop the domino effect. Without Bartch, it would be tempting to kick a tackle inside, reshuffle pieces, and pray for chemistry. That's exactly the roulette the franchise avoided. With Parker, the staff keeps the structure intact and protects the most valuable part of the system: continuity of calls, blocking angles, and a shared language. On short weeks, that buys time, and time becomes protection. On the field, the utility is clear. The 49ers offense thrives on outside zone, makes defenders run laterally, and then out of nowhere, drops deep play action. For that to work, tackles must hold vertical pass sets without giving up the edge. Parker isn't a star, but he offers a steady floor. He can anchor against power rushers, stay disciplined on long sets, and contribute in jumbo packages at the goal line or on 3rd and short. In tight games, that half yard of security becomes the difference on those razor-thin third downs. The fan base, of course, split the timeline. One side calls the signing pragmatic, because depth in September tends to pay dividends in December. The other wants a louder name, fearing the team is just patching a hole. The counter-argument from the staff is simple: preserving cohesion today is worth more than a splash that doesn't fit. An OL isn't a talent collection, it's a well-rehearsed band. Shuffling instruments out of desperation usually throws everything off-key. There's also a roster management element. With Bartch out, protecting the interior rotation means not messing with the rest. If an emergency pops up on the edge, Parker steps in without displacing starters. If it doesn't, he accelerates his learning curve in the system and keeps healthy pressure on whoever's playing. Either way, the message is clear: minimize risks while the calendar tightens. A fine detail that matters in practice: protection communication. Fewer moving parts reduce false starts, prevent panic holds, and keep tempo on the snap count. Vital when Levi's gets loud or the team's on the road. Keeping the quarterback clean for 1 extra beat per drive often translates to 3 extra points on the board. So, is it enough? If Parker weathers the first storm and lets Shanahan keep the offense's identity, efficient run game, venomous play action, and a breathable pocket, the signing will have done its job. And if a short week, long trip, or a front 7 buzzsaw shows up, this reserve can become an overnight starter without breaking the rhythm. It's exactly the kind of move that doesn't make headlines until it wins a game. And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. When you talk about a 2-0 start, the tendency is to highlight what's already working: a sturdy defense, an offense that's efficient even with absences, and the sense that the machine is humming. But the story behind this beginning hides 2 pieces who might not be at Levi's Stadium in 2026. Robert Saleh back as defensive coordinator, and Mac Jones, the quarterback who left his mark in a single start, share a common thread: an uncertain future. And that question mark turns good news into a long-term dilemma. Saleh brought back his identity: an aggressive, organized defense that extracts production from still green youngsters. Through 2 weeks, there were decisive moments when the unit held firm, gave the offense breathing room, and secured wins. For a franchise that has cycled through defensive coordinators, stability finally seemed close. But the past still echoes. Saleh has been a head coach interview target before, had a bumpy stint with the Jets, and still carries the aura of a man who will run his own team again. If the Niners' defense keeps this level, how many calls does he get in January? Meanwhile, Mac Jones adds another twist. Signed to bring depth to the QB room, he stepped in earlier than planned. Brock Purdy opened the season with a win, but the toe injury cleared the runway for Jones. Against the Saints, he didn't just fill a vacancy, he shined with 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. That performance lit a dangerous spark, not an immediate controversy, but a market value that could push the 49ers to a crossroads. The logic is simple: if Jones stays solid, QB-needy teams will start dialing. In a league where a good backup is a rare luxury, San Francisco may face the classic choice: keep internal security or convert the asset into draft capital. To complicate it, with every clean snap and on-time throw, his price rises. What's curiosity now could become a concrete offer. Fans get it. Social feeds already show debates. Keep him reliable QB2s are unicorns versus trade while the value's high. Deep down, everyone remembers recent seasons when the position turned into a carousel of injuries and improvisation. Having a trustworthy Mac Jones behind Purdy is gold, but gold can also be traded. With Saleh, the dynamic almost flips. He may wait for the right moment. After a harsh New York experience, he might not take just any offer. A ready-made roster, a stable front office, that's his target. Even so, if the right job opens, the temptation will be strong. Shanahan, for his part, doesn't want the DC carousel again. He knows defensive continuity is essential for long playoff runs. The dilemma is inevitable. A defense reborn under Saleh and a luxury backup in Jones could paradoxically be painful losses in 2026. It's the kind of situation where fans root for wins while quietly dreading the consequences. Because the better they are, the more suitors will try to pull them out of San Francisco. And while we're losing our minds over that, here comes an update that hits fans right in the heart.
Towards Brandon Aiyuk. Just hearing the name makes fans' hearts race. We're talking about one of the most lethal weapons in the 49ers attack, a receiver who turns simple routes into explosive plays. But since the knee injury in October 2024, fans have lived between anxiety and hope. And when Kyle Shanahan was pressed this week for an update, his brief, almost cryptic answer only heightened the suspense. Yeah, he's progressing. 3 words, zero certainty. The schedule doesn't help. The most optimistic return would be against the Rams in Week 5. But that game lands on a short week with limited prep time. Realistically, the focus shifts to Week 6 or later. Meanwhile, fans cling to images from beat reporters, clips of Aiyuk working on the side, testing movements, trying to show the worst is over. It's the stage where every step is news, every sprint fuels speculation. Will he be ready? Here's the delicate point. The offense is surviving without him. Mac Jones, thrust into action after Brock Purdy's toe injury, showed against the Saints he can steer the team in tough games. The 26-21 win didn't come from improvisation alone. It came from a plan that worked without one of its prime weapons. That proves the Niners have depth, but it doesn't solve the equation. Without Aiyuk long-term, the offensive ceiling drops. Fans are arguing exactly that. Risk an early return and jeopardize the season, or wait it out, even if it costs key games now. Social media is full of comparisons to other stars who rushed back and paid with setbacks. The fear is legitimate. An 80% Aiyuk might help in September, but a 100% Aiyuk in December and January could be the difference between an ordinary playoff and a Super Bowl run. Shanahan by nature reveals little. That's frustrating, but it shows the staff doesn't want to create unrealistic expectations. Progressing can mean anything from light jogging to sharper cuts, from basic rehab to more intense work. What we know is he's not yet practicing with the starters, and that matters. Chemistry between quarterback and receiver doesn't appear overnight. Every missed practice is another gear that takes longer to mesh. The strategic impact is huge. Without Aiyuk, defenses can lean coverage toward Deebo Samuel and George Kittle when healthy, making the offense more predictable. With him on the field, the board shifts. Intermediate routes gain depth, verticals open run lanes, and even play action gets scarier. That's why every tiny update sends fans buzzing. There's also a psychological layer. The locker room knows having Aiyuk back signals the team is reforming, key pieces converging for the decisive stretch. It's emotional fuel no chart can measure. For now, the message is clear. Patience. Hurry can be costly, and the 49ers know it. But Niner Nation's anxiety won't fade until he's lining up again. Fans want that moment when Purdy or Jones lets it fly and Aiyuk explodes into open field. Until then, every short Shanahan soundbite is a riddle, every side session a clue to decode. And if you think this saga already frays the nerves, wait till you hear what's going on with the beating heart of the ground game. If there's a 49ers calling card in recent years, it's a punishing run game. Shanahan built his reputation on turning zone blocks into long, explosive carries that dismantled defenses. But over the first 2 weeks of 2025, something sounds off. The ground game still posts a respectable success rate, 41.8%, 13th in the league. But what stands out is the absence of long runs, those tide turners that flip a game with a single snap. For a team used to watching McCaffrey rip through the second level, that feels like a silent alarm. The numbers are blunt, just 3 runs of 10+ yards, one of them from Mac Jones. For an offense that's lived off CMC's field-flipping plays, that stat is uncomfortable. Asked about it, Shanahan didn't duck the issue stems, paradoxically, from defenses that aren't stacking the box, but sitting back in too high shells. The result? Fewer deep shots, but also fewer creases for a run to pop. It's like defenses flip the board. You won't torch us deep, but you won't bulldoze us either. Here's the thing, the 49ers have been the standard for beating that look. Linemen climb to the second level, tight ends seal the edge, and the back bursts through. For now, the timing's off. One missed block, one late read, and the play dies for a short gain. Shanahan was blunt. It takes 11 guys for a big run to happen. If one Y misses, it's over. That line captures the essence of the issue. Not talent, collective execution. Fans feel the difference. While the passing metrics pop 7th in dropback EPA, 3rd in success rate, the run game tests patience. Form is buzz. Some say McCaffrey looks less explosive. Others note Kittle is out, and his blocking absence looms large. Some see Parker's practice squad addition as a sign the staff is already fortifying the trenches. Deep down, everyone knows the run game is the identity, and without the home runs, something feels incomplete. But it isn't just about yards, it's about narrative. The run game has always been the way to impose respect, control the clock, and wear defenses down. Without explosives, the offense feels efficient, not intimidating. In January, that can matter against elite defenses that don't give much airspace. Shanahan insists he's not worried, but nobody forgets that predictability is exactly what opponents want. There's a bright side. The base is there. Short runs work. The line still creates on 3rd and 2. McCaffrey is healthy. If execution sharpens, the longs will come. When they do, this top 10 offense can become unstoppable. Maybe fans just need patience, but patience is scarce when expectations are Super Bowl high. That's where the tension lives. While the defense solidifies, the passing game shines, and the roster weathers injuries, the lack of explosive runs is the off note. Shanahan knows he can't let it turn into a heel. Rivals know it too. Each week without that rushing home run is a week where doubt grows. In the end, it's simple. The 49ers are dangerous, but they'll only be complete when they run like they always have. Fans expect that next McCaffrey burst 40 yards of daylight to restore not just the numbers, but the identity. And with all these pieces moving, one feeling is clear. Something big is brewing in Santa Clara, and the best or the worst may still be ahead.
Here's where we land. Depth reinforced with Brandon Parker. Protection shored up while Ben Barch recovers. A two to this start that sparks long-term dilemmas involving Robert Saleh and Mac Jones in market value. Brandon Aiyuk's saga inching forward, demanding patience to come back at full strength. And a ground game that's efficient, but missing that knockout rush that flips games. Everything points to a mature team, aware of timing and adjustments. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these levers decides December? Drop a comment, hit like, share with the Niner Nation, and let's keep this rolling, because Santa Clara never sleeps.